appreciate all the things you got before you lose all the things you have. Niri Shabaka, Person Ma'at Ra. Knowledge is infinite, therefore evolution is inevitable. Peace.
Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Piankhi Nobody, Ra. And this is Paradigm Shift TV. We calling this the Convo. I got my brother, the conscious Christian Jerome Green. I got nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel. Before we speak our speech, let me do my usual welcome. Let me say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. And let me say Jambo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you are Black, I'm with you. And I hope that you are with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. My brothers, reintroduce yourself and let's get into it.
Well, y'all already know me out there on Paradigm Shift TV 314. I am your brother Nobody. Always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. I got my co-host with me, man, Jerome the Conscious Christian Green. What's up, Jerome, bro?
What's up, bro? What's up, Paradigm Shift TV? Y'all know me from the beginning. You know, when everything popped off. I'm still here. You know, ready to give my 2 cents on this particular topic.
Yeah, for those who in suspense, we get into Black Lives Matter. And are they beneficial for Black people? Do they mean well for Black people? Now, we're not talking about the statement, Black Lives Matter. We know that statement is a true statement. We're talking about the organization. Do not get confused. We know damn well Black Lives Matter, Black Lives should matter. We know that we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter if all lives matter. We're not going to get into that rhetoric. We're talking about the organization, Black Lives Matter. I'm going to let my brother Jerome Green start us off. Let's get into it.
Okay, well, you know, for anybody who's familiar with the Black Lives Matter organization even at surface level, it was started around 2013, I believe, with the Trayvon Martin situation where he was killed by George Zimmerman. And you know, at first it was it was all about, at least I'll just give my spiel on it. At first, when I first caught wind of the organization and what they stood for, I was like, okay, cool. Finally it's an organization that's letting it be known that, Black Lives Matter amid all this police brutality and police killings and things like that of people of color. So I can't say I was fully ensconced into it, but I was down with what they were doing up until this past year, which was 2019. Somebody sent me a video, and they were actually exposing the Black Lives Matter organization. And when I looked at the video and I saw what the video presented, I did my due diligence. I went on the website and I checked out every nook and cranny of what they were representing and what they were trying to push. And it was several things after I read that they were all about standing against police brutality, equality for Black people, et cetera, et cetera. But when it goes into things like the family unit, I couldn't agree with that, because what they're doing is they're making it seem like the traditional family unit, which is the mother, the father, and the child, is somehow has its inception in Western society, when we know that's not true. And they're looking to try to eradicate that. Another thing that they are purporting is that they're pushing for transgender leadership within their organization. And what I found disturbing about that is you don't see where they reference even allowing a Black man to lead, take a leadership position in the organization. So I'm like, it's something more to this organization than what they're putting out on social media and in videos and things like that. And even when you go into the spiritual part, which everybody on Paradigm Shift knows what my spiritual orientation is, they're into all types of things that, of course, I have to stand against being a Christian. They push ancestor veneration. They try to evoke the spirits of even the people that have died, like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and of course Trayvon Martin, by chanting their names. What they're doing is they're using incantations to summon these spirits and have these spirits, quote unquote, guide them in what their mission is. So when I found all those things out, and it's like even more is being put out even to this day. I just saw a video by Nefertiti, shout out to Nefertiti, where she's exposing particularly the spiritual side of it. But those are some things that kind of opened my eyes, or did open my eyes, to what the organization was all about. And finding that out, I no longer gave my support to the organization. Now I still agree 100% with the slogan Black Lives Matter, because like Brother Piankhi said, we know that Black Lives Matter, most definitely. But the organization, I can't rock with it. And one other thing I want to say before I end my little rant or whatever, is that it's funny how the Black Lives Matter organization is standing against police brutality and police killings at the hands of racist cops, but they're not taking that same stance against what we as African Americans do to each other. How we kill each other over the smallest things. They're not pushing the accountability aspect on the Black community. Like if we're gonna change the narrative, we have to start with ourselves. We can't wait on anybody outside of the African American community to change the narrative for us. We have to change the narrative ourselves. And with the traction that the Black Lives Matter organization has gained, that should be at the forefront of their mission, if you ask me. But it's not, and I find that to be problematic. And saying that, I don't necessarily think that the Black Lives Matter organization is conducive to the African American community on a progressive level, on a pragmatic level, all of the above. So, that's my 2 cents on it.
Right.
All right.
And
Before you jump in, Nobody, let me ask Jerome a couple questions. So it sounds like they mixing African spiritual concepts, like with ancestor veneration, with like lesbianism and transgender hegemony. Or it's like they trying to mix that intermingle those two things. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I would say so, because of course we know that the founders of the organization are lesbian, so that was there from the beginning. Where the African spiritual tradition specifically, I think I think it's the Ifa tradition, where that got mixed into it. I don't necessarily know, but I know that they do libations before every protest or whatever. So those are definitely elements within the Black Lives Matter organization.
Wow. And so now let me ask you this from a personal standpoint, because now for me, obviously I venerate my ancestors. I don't worship my ancestors. I don't worship anybody or anything, but I do venerate or honor, so to speak, if you will, my ancestors. Particularly my grandparents. I go to the Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery once a month, and I do pour libations, pay my respects, and I think it's a very sacred thing, and personal thing for me. Do you feel that this is something different that they doing than what I'm explaining, or is it something similar, or is it going into something else?
As far as them pouring libation, it may be on the same wavelength as what you're doing, but as far as the ancestor veneration, now of course it's not far off in the left field to give recognition to a grandparent or a family member that preceded you. There's nothing wrong with honoring an ancestor, but when you trying to invoke their spirits, you know what I'm saying, to guide you by chanting their names over and over, that's where the red flags go up for me. And not only are they, like I said, trying to venerate their ancestors, they're trying to venerate the spirits of people who have been killed at the hands of racist police.
And okay, and now and then with regards to this, I know the founders are lesbian, and so they basically taking their lifestyle choice and trying to superimpose that on the Black community. You think?
Oh yeah. I definitely think that they may have had an agenda all along to do that. They just found a catalyst, so to speak, to allow it to jump off as this organization that's, you know, trying to push for justice for the Black community, but in essence, what they're pushing is something that I would say is counterproductive to the Black community.
Absolutely.
In its totality.
Because this movement has gotten a lot of power and a lot of influence. Like it's almost like neck and neck with the gay and lesbian movement, where they, you know, you can't say nothing wrong about that community. Like your ass is grass if you say something about a gay person or a lesbian. You know what I mean? A gay man or a lesbian woman, your ass is grass. And it's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. If you say something in disagreement with them, all of a sudden you a coon, you a sellout. You know, right. It's a whole different connotation towards you, no matter what kind of work you put in for your people. You know, now you being looked at a particular way when their agenda is not conducive to us moving forward in power, in my opinion. Nobody, go ahead and jump in, bro.
Like you said earlier, man, all three of us are Black men, so inherently, of course we believe that Black Lives Matter. I started looking into this organization around its founding, in which Jerome was right. It was started in 2013, around the time when Trayvon Martin had got shot. And after going to their website and you read their mission statement, they make it known that they are all about LGBTQ and what they stand for. Now, we know as Black people, I'm pretty sure everybody who's listening to this video who's Black, I'm pretty sure you've heard a gay person say that if you're Black, you should identify with me because we go through the same thing that y'all go through, in which we know that that's not.
I've heard that.
That's
right.
And that's the standpoint that they're coming from. It's like we don't get to choose our skin color. Your lifestyle choice, I don't care how much scientific evidence you say you have, which there is none, you are not born gay. Babies are not born with any feelings of a sexual preference at all. So you can't be born gay or born straight. What we do know is you're born with a penis, you're born with a vagina. Based off of that, you are who you are. Men have the chromosomes that they have, women have the chromosomes that they have, and it is what it is. Now, when it comes to the BLM movement, they're into Marxism, in which Marxism is a form of communism. And you know that communists believe that all property should be owned publicly, which means that you can't have private property. Let's say, for example, if I own my house and I own my land, I get to make up my rules on my land. Well, if we were to push for communists, that would mean that the government owns all the land. There is no private property, and we all would have to give to every individual equally. So that means that if I'm a person who's working hard, if I'm doing what it takes for me and my family to get ahead in life, and I happen to climb the ladder, I would have to share what I have with people who are not even trying. You see what I'm saying? So they push Marxism, which was founded by a man named Karl Marx, a white man. And isn't that funny how they claim to be for Black lives, but they're pushing the notion of a white man, not only a white man who falls under the category in believing that Black people come from monkeys and that the white people come from Black people. So since the Black people come from monkeys, we are less intelligent. And since the white man comes from us, they're more intelligent. This is where this idea comes from. Now, again, they push for the nuclear family. When you donate your money to BLM, if you look at the website and to where the money goes, it goes to this organization that is titled under the Blue Banner. This Blue Banner funds Joe Biden's campaign. So all of the money that people have donated to Black Lives Matter, thinking that it's gonna go to Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, they families see none of this money. All the BLM hats you buy, all the shirts you buy, whatever merchandise they have out, none of that money goes to the Black families that they are claiming that they're for. this goes to the campaign of whichever Democrat is running for that seat. And this is what they don't tell you. So also, this is the same party who says that we'll give black women house stamps. Black men are not in the home. Now, if the black man is not in the home, we'll put that man on child support regardless if the woman wants to do it or not. Now watch this. If I'm a woman and you're gonna give me housing and food stamps, all I gotta do is not have my baby daddy in the home. Who's not gonna take that? Now watch this. If I'm a black man and I do look after my children financially, but I'm not living in the home, they can put me on child support. Isn't that something? Now, if I don't have the money to pay child support, these same Democrats who are pushing these laws say that I have to go to jail. This is what the foundation stands on. Now, if you notice, they push the LGBT and they push the feminine movement. Where is the black man at? Where is the black man at, right? They want households to be raised by two women or two men. You can be a man who wants to be a woman with a woman who wants to be a man, or you can be a woman with a woman. You can be a man with a man, long as you're not a heterosexual, upstanding, strong black man. This is what they're pushing. So what they do is they know that black people are fed up with police brutality. So what they do is they put this as the face of their campaign, because they know that if I say police brutality and black people, who's not going to jump on that bandwagon? We're all going to jump on that bandwagon. But what they don't tell you is this is only the face. Our real agenda is to push the gay manifesto. And for anybody who don't know what the gay manifesto is, I suggest you go look it up, go read it. Please go read it. It refers to what Piankhi was saying. You can't speak on these gay people. If you do, your butt is in hot water. Now, when you read the gay manifesto, it let it be known that a time is coming where gay people are going to take over every position in politics, in life as a whole. And us who are heterosexual, we're going to be looked at as the outcasts. We're going to be the ones to where, oh, you straight? It's something wrong with you. Oh, you straight? That's a crime. You see what I'm saying? So these people, it's called the domino effect. You know how you push one domino to hit the other domino to hit the other domino so we can get to where you're trying to get it to. These people have already put in place, they've already pushed the first 2 or 3 dominoes. Now they have a lot of black people who don't know what they're about following their movement wholeheartedly, and they're getting the bills and policies passed to push for the gay manifesto, thinking that they're getting bills and policies pushed for black people as a whole. And that's not what's going on. And I have a problem with that.
As you should. And so what it sounds like to me, and this gonna sound funny to y'all, but it sounds like the quote unquote comedic community or conscious community who prides themselves on a divine feminine and a divine masculine, a man and a woman, right? Man, woman, and child. And the Christian community that's about a man being a man, a woman being a woman, raising their family as such, right? Sound like we got a common enemy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds to me like not only have they adopted the Lyndon B. Johnson policy of pushing the man out of the household and incentivizing women to do so, but now we're going to replace that man with a woman. We're going to replace that woman with a man. And so these children are going to be raised in a household where the people who are raising them and taking care of them are a same-sex couple.
Right.
So now what do they see as normal?
Right. Right. And so right. We don't get no strikes on this video. Let me let this be known. we're all for gay rights. And what I mean by gay rights is, if you gay, you shouldn't have to worry about getting beat up when you go outside. You shouldn't have to worry about getting wrong. You shouldn't have to worry about things. We are not for gay rights as in you're born gay. We're not for gay rights as in, hey, this is right. Let me teach everybody else that this is right. No, you should have the right to live as a free citizen and be who you are. If you want to be a man, dress like a girl, cool. If you want to be a girl and be a stud like a man, cool. But you do not have the right to tell us that this is normal, because it's not. So I just want to
let me be even more clear and even more personal. Do whatever you want to do. Just don't impose that on me. Right? Right. This is a free country. You're free to do whatever you want to do. Just don't impose it on me, and don't expect me to acquiesce to your behavior.
Right.
So, in other words, what I'm telling you is, if you're a man and you dress like a woman, I don't have to respect that.
At all.
At all.
Nope. Nor do we have to acknowledge a transgender quote unquote woman as a she, because we know that biologically that transgender quote unquote woman is male. So
and it's the other way around. It's disrespectful to my mother, to my grandmother, to my aunts, to my daughters, to my nieces, to call a man, a transgender man, a woman who ain't got to suffer every month like women do. It's disrespectful. And I don't have to play that game.
I don't know what state y'all live in, but out here in Texas, it's even to the point to where, now, a lot of people not going to take you to court for it, of course, but we have laws out here to where if you call a gay person, transgender, whatever, if you call them the wrong name, they could actually take you to court. You could actually get fined. So let's say I don't know all the LGBTQ terms. If I call you the wrong name, you can legally take me to court for that. That's a law out here in Texas. Like, ain't that crazy, bro?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just showing you, it's showing all of us the sign of the times, man, because I mean, I understand, you know, hate speech or whatever, or trying to, get rid of hate speech against, people who are of a different sexual orientation or whatever. But I think it's being taken too far, you know what I'm saying? Because on the one hand, like you said, if you say something derogatory towards a gay person or a transgender person, they could take you to court and do whatever subsequently. But it's like when they go out and they are attacking, street preachers, they're attacking people who are pretty much standing against what they're trying to do. I mean, where's the justice for these people who are being attacked by these gay pride organizations and people? You know what I'm saying? And if there is, one of y'all brothers correct me.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wasn't even gonna touch on that. But not to preach to y'all, but y'all know we are Christians. I follow a pastor called David Lynn, and he did a street preaching in Canada, and he didn't really say no scripture at all. The only thing he was doing, he was at a gay pride parade, and all he was saying was that I love you. I love you. I accept you. Do you accept me? I love you. He did this for like an hour, man. These gay people called the police on this man and said that he was promoting hate speech. You can go watch the video right now. Now, I can see how some people, especially people who are gay, I can see how they could take the Bible and probably consider it as hate speech, since it says, you can't be a homosexual, so you go to jail. But this man didn't preach any of those scriptures. You can go watch the video. All he said was that I love you. Do you love me? I accept you. Do you accept me? These gay people tried to take his microphone. They tried to take his radio. He left from where he was at and went across the street. They followed this man across the street. They called the police on this man. The police locked this man up, and all he was saying was, "I love you." How is that hate speech? So I want to ask both of y'all, how do y'all feel about the term homophobia, knowing that if I disagree with your lifestyle, that doesn't mean I am afraid of you. A phobia means I'm afraid of you. I'm scared of you. So how do y'all feel about the term homophobia being used against us as hate speech when in reality, I ain't scared of no gay person, bro, whether you want to say it physically or mentally. So,
That got to be the biggest mischaracterization I've ever heard in my life. I don't have to disagree. Like, I could disagree with your lifestyle for me and mine without fearing you.
Right.
A phobia, like I got a phobia of snakes.
right.
I got a phobia of jumping tarantulas. I got a phobia of that because I'm scared that I'm gonna get bit by a poisonous spider or a poisonous snake or whatever you want to call it, right? That's a phobia. I got a phobia of falling asleep in my basement and a brown recluse landing on my face, and then I wake up with a hole in my face, right? That's a phobia I have, a real phobia. I'm not scared of no gay person. I think the lifestyle is ludicrous. I think it's counterintuitive. I think it could very well be unnatural. However, I don't even give it a second thought because it doesn't affect me. I'm a heterosexual. Like, you know, I'm with the Temple of Het Haru, or associated with the Temple of Het Haru. Het Haru sexual, if you will. I have no thoughts about homosexuality when it comes to fear or otherwise. Am I cognizant of how much it's propagated in today's media and entertainment? And so I have to talk to my children about it more than, say, my grandmother, my uncles, my parents had to talk to me about it. Of course, because like anything that I object to or that any parent would object to, you're gonna talk to your kids about. But to say I have a phobia of it, I think that's a mischaracterization. You could say anti.
Right, that would be a better word to use.
You know what I mean?
Before I pose the thing.
But to say I have a fear of it, no, I don't fear you. Nothing about you. You have nothing to do with me. But yeah, it's just a gross mischaracterization. I think I have a concern that there's a push to replace me as a black man in my role as a father, you know, with possibly with a woman. I think that it's a push to make my son a female. I think it's a push to make my daughter a man. But just like anything else that I think is counterproductive to their life, as a parent, I gotta guard against it, but I don't fear it.
Right. I would agree with you on that. Before I pose the same question to Jerome, Piankhi, don't be trying to play them parallelisms with us, bro. You know, when they try to say amen means amen, and then you're trying to say heterosexual. No, I'm just playing.
Well played, my brother. Well played.
Jerome, same question, man. How you feel about them trying to say that if we disagree with their lifestyle, somehow we have a phobia of them?
Well, I agree 100% with what Brother Piankhi said. I think it's a misrepresentation. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to conflate homophobia or hate garnered actions with people who simply just disagree. Like the people like us, we disagree with the lifestyle, but we're not out to hurt or harm anybody who's a part of that community, whether it be verbally or physically. Now, when they speak on homophobia, they're talking about people who are could be this is just my guess on it. When they're talking about people who are homophobic, they're talking about people who are so afraid or against that lifestyle that they will hurt or kill somebody who's of that community.
Right.
You know, and I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to lump everybody who's against that lifestyle in one pile when you can't really do that.
Shoot, I'll go as far to even say this. If this defines what they mean by homophobia, then I have homophobia. I'm scared that they'll take over the world. If that's the case, you know, if they want to place that under phobia, yeah, I'm scared of that. But as you said, though, I believe what you said. They are talking about homophobia to the point to where people are willing to cause physical or mental harm to them. And in that case, no, we're not homophobes, and neither are we homophobes if they want to define it as us being physically or mentally afraid of them as well. So I just wanted us to have this conversation too, because I know that a lot of people don't understand that BLM and their founders and what they're pushing, they're not for black people, man. And I would say in my opinion, but I'm not going to even say in my opinion. I'm going to say they're not for black people based off of what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I've read.
Right. Because when you think about it, and I was just watching a video on this yesterday. When you think about it, when it comes to the Black Lives Matter protests that had been occurring recently, and the riots and the looting and all of this, most of the areas that were targeted were Black-owned businesses. And another thing I want to point out is when it comes to people that were actually killed in these riots, I think it was like 17 people or somewhere around that number that were killed. Half of them were Black.
Right, true.
You know, some of them were police officers, but they still were Black. So, you know, it's very telling of you know what that organization really is about. And I think it's really about anarchy and chaos and you know the Marxist agenda.
I feel like we're being used, man. I feel like they're using the struggles that some black people do have, and they're capitalizing off of it. You know, as I mentioned, where the donations go and how they are giving out to everything but black people. Like how many dollars, and this is for y'all in the audience, for any of y'all who've actually donated to BLM, how many of those dollars actually came back to your community? What has changed in your community? Because y'all know that they have raised millions of dollars in the double digits. I'm not talking about like 1 million, 2 million. I'm talking about 10 million and over. Like just since 2013, this organization who only shows up and cause chaos and cause anarchy, they making millions of dollars off of that. And none of it is coming to our community. You know, ain't that pothole that was on your street been there for years? Ain't that same pothole still right there? You got to drive around it on your way to work and on your way back. It ain't changed. Ain't that same rundown stove, that field of grass that's just been sitting over there, grass growing real high? Ain't none of that changed. All the gangbangers, the thugs, the hood people who you cross the street for, or who you tell people, hey, nah, that's just Lil Ray right now, man. They do that all the time. Have any of that changed since on the scene? Fund the police. Now, we're not sitting up here saying that there aren't bad police. you can't go to no profession and not find a bad worker. You can go to Popeyes. You're gonna see somebody up there doing their job right, and you're gonna see somebody up there not doing their job right. So you can't find a 100% A+ rating on any business, company, organization in the world. So we're not gonna even sit up here and play dumb on that. Defunding the police could only mean more chaos. What they need to do is they can try harder. I don't know what measures they're taking now, but they can try harder to weed out the bad police officers. We need police, man. If we're not gonna get out here and police our own neighborhood, which I do security, so you know I'm not a police officer, but I'm somewhere in that bracket. So, but I know that's not for everybody, you know. So if we're not gonna get out here and police our neighborhood, we can't act as if the police isn't needed in our neighborhood. I don't care how much you say you dislike the police. When something has happened in your life, when it was time for you to call police, what you do? You picked up your phone and you dialed 911, didn't you? And you expected for somebody to come, right? So like we can't sit up here and play games with these people. Like Jerome said, they are looking for chaos and they're looking for anarchy, man. And bro, I'm totally with you on that. And we can look at protests like the ones that's been going on in Portland, that's been going on, if I'm not mistaken, last time I checked, these riots have been going on for 80-something days, bro. I can't imagine living in a neighborhood where people are loud, walking down the street, burning up stuff, setting stuff on fire, knocking down bits for 80-something days. Bro, my children got to go to the store. I got to go get gas. I got to go to work. Y'all blocking freeways, streets, you know, all this stuff for what? Because BLM said go do it. And Jerome, I want to ask you this. How did you feel, and I'm not trying to sway anybody vote, but how did you feel when Joe Biden got on TV and tried to have the nerve to act as if he had the power to take our black card by saying, if you don't vote for me, then you're not black? How did you feel?
Piss me off.
Man, you know, I really, because I didn't see it live, but you know, I saw the video of it, and I'm like, I really brushed it off, to be honest, because I'm like, who are you to try and revoke anybody's black card because they're not voting for you? When you know darn well that you don't necessarily like black people. So, I mean, it didn't really affect me because I'm not well versed in politics at all, but I know enough to know that these politicians who aren't black will do anything to sway the black vote in their favor. So
let's keep it real. Joe Biden was made vice president by Barack Obama because he has a past of being anti-black. So how do you get white people who wouldn't vote for a black president to be comfortable voting for a black president? You get a Democrat who you know is usually anti-black, who voted for the crime bill, who was disproportionately against black people, who stood on the Senate floor and said he don't care why young black males are committing crimes. It don't matter that they poor. It don't matter that they disenfranchised. It don't matter why they doing what they doing. It ain't about getting them help and providing resources where they don't grow up in that condition. It's about putting their ass in jail. He stood on the Senate floor and said that.
Hard, word for word. Word for word.
So, like, straight like that. And so for this man who wanted to keep students in schools segregated, so let's keep it a buck. The Democrats who get on TV and propagate and try to appropriate Dr. King's dream, this Democrat got up there and said he would rather keep those black kids away from white kids.
Yep.
He said that on the Senate floor.
And then came back, not on the Senate floor, but in another interview, and was saying that black people can be just as smart as white people.
No.
Black little girl.
Yeah, but black people could be just as smart as poor people. or something like that. He said something really stupid. Right. And here's the thing. We call Donald Trump racist, and rightfully so. But we need to call Joe Biden just as racist, because while Donald Trump was saying there were good people on both sides, when it was white supremacists on one side and non-white supremacists on the other side, Joe Biden did the exact same thing when he endorsed politicians who were for the continuation of Jim Crow laws. Right. I mean, and we can also take action over opinion, because let's just say how some people say, if I'm black and I'm racist, but you know, black people can't be racist. Well, that's just my opinion. Well, if we put action against opinion, you know, Trump has said a lot of stuff. He probably endorsed some people, but Joe Biden didn't actually show on the political level that he's racist, like we're saying with the 94 crime bill and the stuff that he's said to try to act as if we don't act a certain way, then we are less than who our skin color portrays us to be. Right. You know what I'm saying? If we don't acquiesce to what he think we should do, then we ain't black. Right, and see, I can agree that Trump is an a-hole. If Trump don't like you, he don't care what skin color you are. He is what it is. You know what I'm saying? What I can say is, and not to get into politics, but just to counter the LBM movement, who try to act as if they're for black people, while Kamala Harris was a person who was actually locking up black people. Trump signed prison reform about 3 weeks ago. Who's the #1 race of people locked up in jail? Black people. What prison reform means is that people who are locked up for nonviolent crimes, so fact is just say selling marijuana, they can get out of jail, get right out. Joe Biden was under Obama for 8 years, and they didn't even think twice to sign prison reform. So let's keep it a buck, because me and Trust is gonna do this. We gonna get into this in a day or two. Yeah. About Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and why black people shouldn't be as caught up on them as they are. But I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna give our closing remarks on Black Lives Matter. So, Donald Trump, who I don't like, who I believe has racist tendencies, has let black men who got locked up under the crime bill that Joe Biden wrote out of prison. And that's all I got to say about that. As far as Black Lives Matter, I say this. I say that we have an organization that is under the pretense of helping black people. They have taken a circumstance that we suffer from, and that's the disproportionate mistreatment by racist police officers, mistrained police officers, fearful police officers, and they have taken that and co-opted it into a movement where they can push their own agenda, which for all intents and purposes seems to be a gay and lesbian agenda to push the black man out of the family. Our brother Jerome pointed out, no black men in leadership, no rhetoric or speech of black men being prominent in the home. So you can get out there and you can march and you can protest, but if you're not talking about building up black families, if you ain't talking about black men and women being accountable and raising up children who are accountable, who not going out there and killing other black people, then you ain't really talking about shit as far as I'm concerned. If you're talking about pushing black men out of the house and putting a black woman in the house and having kids grow up and see 2 women raising them, and there's not a black man in there to tell a black boy how to be a man, you ain't talking about shit. Same token for a male-male relationship. So to me, it seems that these people have taken an opportunity to use an unfortunate circumstance that we suffer from and superimpose their agenda over it. And they've taken a political stands to continue to forward that agenda. And that's just my opinion. I'm gonna go to Jerome.
Yeah, bro, I definitely agree with what you say. That's exactly what they're trying to do, bro. Their stance, in my opinion, and what they're pushing is inimical to the black community. In essence, it's doing nothing positive for the black community. It has liberal undertones, as you know, anybody could see just off of what we've been discussing. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, I'll say this for anybody who may not know. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, paint myself as this gladiator for black justice, but I've been a part of several protests, and I feel like what just with my experience with what the Black Lives Matter organization is all about, it's made me more cautious of what I'm out there protesting, because if you're protesting a cop, you know, killing an unarmed black man, or you know, committing an act of any type of police brutality, but you're not out there simultaneously pushing for black accountability in black communities, then I can't rock with that, because you're being arbitrary. Like, if you're not gonna push for injustice and black accountability, which is gonna equal black progression and change the black narrative in its totality, then, you know, I can't rock with it, man. Like, and that's all I got to say.
Man, and in my closing, man, y'all know I agree with both of you brothers. This is a conversation that shows just what Brother Piankhi's mission statement is about. You know, you can be brothers with different ideologies, and you can still come together and connect and show that, hey, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, man. And when it comes to Black Lives Matter, I don't care what you believe. If you say that you pro-black and you for the black family and the black community, we all know it takes a male, it takes a female with those children if you want to leave any kind of legacy. And to promote anything less than that, it's absurd. You know, it's no point in us agreeing with people who overall agenda is to push the black male out of the picture. And that's what they're promoting. Believe it or not, you can go look up their mission statement. They're not hiding it. The three co-founders of the organization, they have several videos online. They are not hiding it. When you go watch CNN, if you don't know it, that's a Democrat channel. Listen to how they talk. They have the black vote and they have the feminist vote, period. You don't even hear them mention nothing else. They don't mention us. If you're a black male in America, you should be offended by BLM organization, man, because they do not represent you. They want a woman to take your place. And even Keisha Cole, who was that? Keisha Cole or K. Michelle, what one of them say? Can't raise up, man. She didn't even know that. It take a man to raise a man, man. If you want to look at boys in the hood, Angela Bassett went to go drop her son off at Lawrence Fishburne house because once he got to a certain age, she knew she couldn't do what that man could do for her son. And if we gonna take that out of the whole equation, there's something wrong with you, man. So that's just my closing argument. I mean, my closing statement. If you pro-black and you for black families, then you can't be down with the Black Lives Matter organization.
That's a fact, and this is what it is. Let's be clear. We all about Black Lives Matter. We black men. If black lives didn't matter to us, it would be counterintuitive to our existence.
Contradiction.
Let's be clear on that. But what BLM seems to mean is Black lesbians matter.
Oh man,
we not with that. So
that's a good one.
We just keeping it a buck. And so, like the brother said, this is exactly what this channel is about. I represent Kemetic spirituality, Kemetic science, etc. These two brothers are Christians. But one thing we know is it takes a man and a woman to raise children. And when you're trying to push the man out of the house, you looking at a situation that's conducive to the situation we find ourselves in where we killing each other indiscriminately, which creates a situation where police feel justified in taking our lives. And so we cannot have that. It's counterintuitive to our existence and our moving forward in power. We don't have to look at our different ideologies to come to an agreement on that. That's just common sense. And so with that, we're gonna close out, but we're gonna pick back up on this topic in the future, and we're gonna keep on pushing back against Black lesbians matter, Black gay men matter, etc. Because what matters is the Black family, the Black man, the Black woman, and the Black children that they're gonna be raising. And so this has been Paradigm Shift TV. This has been the Convo. That's our brother Nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel. That's the conscious Christian Jerome Green. And this has been your brother Piankhi Nobody. And that's peace. We out.
Peace.
Peace.